and cover.
Be sure and remember what Bert the Turtle just did, friends, because every one of us must remember to do the same thing. That's what this film is all about. Duck and cover. Paul and Patty know this. No matter where they go or what they do, they always try to remember what to do if the atom bomb explodes right then. It's a bomb. Duck and cover. Sundays, holidays, vacation time, we must be ready every day, all the time, to do the right thing if the atomic bomb explodes. Duck and cover. That's the first thing to do. Duck and cover. First, you duck. And then you cover. You duck and cover tight. Duck and cover under the table. It's a bomb. Duck and cover.
He did what we all must learn to do. You and you and you and you. Duck and cover.
Welcome, everybody, to the Insert Title Here show, episode number 5. I'm joined by my co-host, Darnell. How are you doing today?
I'm wonderful. How about you?
Great. Just wanted to give everyone a healthy reminder of if the bombs start to fall, remember, duck and cover. Very important to remember. Syfaxx, thanks for joining again. How are you doing today?
Doing good, man. Thanks for the invite. I'll probably only be here, like I said, for 30, 45 minutes, but I always appreciate an invite. Whenever I got time, I'm down to join. You guys are always good to hang out with. I've had a good time every time I talk to you guys, and ready to discuss the topics. So, yeah, let's get it going.
Just as a reminder, if anyone needs to duck out, just put in the private chat, and I'll see it, and then we can give you a moment to
Absolutely.
Log off. And Theo, thank you again for joining. You have become more of a regular on this show as well.
Yeah,
So,
always
how
happy
you
to
doing?
be here. Always happy to be here. I'm just waiting. You know me, baby. I'm just waiting on the bombs to drop. Thank you for the reminder. I'm going to be ducking and covering.
I thought it was important. I mean,
They
with
know where
everything
Kissy
that's been
has
going
goodbye.
on, yeah. I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that even though I'm not a monetized channel, there's still that possibility of copyright strike. So I really want to go Weird Al's Christmas at Ground Zero, because it seems kind of the way things are kind of going. It seems appropriate right now. But I heard the darndest news, the unfortunate news. Weird Al has joined Blue Sky and may not post as much on X.
I'm not surprised.
I didn't even know he was posting on X. I haven't heard that name in years. But all right.
He's always been one to lean to the left side.
I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah. I do know you can
get
get
Hollywood surprises me.
Right. You can get in touch with his people if you'd like to get that song for the show. They can whatever they do that they approve. You can approach him about it if you want to use it.
Yeah, that's true.
And then once you do, I think I forgot what you do. Christmas at Ground Zero. It's about a nuclear bomb going off at Christmas. You could. And I forget how to do it, but you do it where like YouTube won't strike you if you should approve you.
I'll look into that. So, the topic, as you see by the title, is: are we starting to see the end of MSM as we know it? Because the election proved one thing: less people are watching mainstream media, and the numbers are bearing out that post-election, they are just cratering for the news networks. Except for one, there's an outlier, and that's Fox News.
Mainstream media. I was thinking of pyramid schemes. Dude,
it took me a second to flush that out too, and I was like, "Is it? Did you type it to me? I thought it was MSNBC or something."
I prepped for the wrong show, dude.
Media. I mean, that kind of covers most of it, but yeah. I understood what you're talking about, but in general, because I was like, "Oh, I know the people that are, running for the hills right now." They're like, "Oh, what are we gonna do?" Well, your shit's cratering, and you're getting dominated by YouTube, random people on YouTube that are getting more views than you guys. And then, obviously like people like Rogan who are getting like millions and millions of views. It's like, all right, whether you like the guy or not doesn't really matter. He's getting the views.
Indeed.
There you go. Like, the hell.
Theo, you at least understood my topic, right?
Yes, but
Good.
I'm very online. I'm very online.
Okay. Chronically so?
Chronically, yes. It's
well, doesn't comedy come from current events? I mean,
yeah.
So you're not chronically online. You're chronically working.
Yeah.
There we go.
That's the way I like to put it. You should talk to my therapist. You should let her know. That's what I'm doing. I'm working.
I'm not being lazy. I'm working.
You're literally the only dude I've ever met that said they have a therapist. Usually it's always women. So I have no idea.
I also have a man bun and a cat, and I'm wearing.
You might have a few things to work out in your life.
You might. You might. I have all the signs.
So we're gonna start off with specifically. So as we get the running going, as a reminder to everyone, it'd be great if you would like and hit the subscribe button as we start into the topic. And the first topic we're going to be talking about is ABC going to cancel The View.
Dun, dun, dun.
Now, in doing research for this, a lot of fact checking going on, because you type in, is The View been canceled? And all of these fact checks are going, no, that's false. It's not getting canceled. But yet, if you read into it, it comes to the point of, oh, helps to not do that. And says right here, has The View been canceled? There have been swirling rumors about The View's potential cancellation for 2025. Despite these claims, ABC has not officially announced the show's renewal or cancellation. The View has been a staple of daytime television for decades. Currently, it's 27th season, and the show continues to draw significant viewership of its all-female panel. But that doesn't seem kind of accurate lately, because they were very big to point out how much they had for viewership right after the election. But it was like a plateau and immediately crashed, almost like people were tuning in to watch them spin out.
It's like people tune into it to literally meme on what the hell they're talking about. That's about it. Like, what it's like, oh, what crazy ridiculousness are they going to talk about today? And it's like, oh, I'm going to get a clip from this, I'm going to get a clip from that. And because none of it's all proven false, and they just spew nonsense. And I mean, nobody believes the mainstream media anymore, which I don't understand how anybody did to begin with. Because I remember even just like, I'm a 90s kid. I was born in 89. I grew up more in the 90s and early 2000s. And even then we were like, even through our music, it was like, screw the government, blah, blah, blah. We're anti this, anti whatever. And nobody believed news outlets at all back then. And I just grew up with that connotation. It was like, oh yeah, most people are on board with this, right? And then later on in life, it was like, oh, people actually watch this and they believe it. Like, the only thing I believe on that is like if I'm watching like a live like police chase, because I'm like, that's in real time. That person's about to get, got or whatever. That was the only thing that was like, I don't know, real to me, because everything else is just like, yeah, we just found some bullshit and now we have to throw it out there. So I don't understand how some of these things even continue on at all. And then with the dying of TV networks in general, everything's getting taken over by streaming and all this other stuff. Why does anyone like this is stuff you have in the background in the morning when you're making breakfast, and then you watch it for 15 minutes and then you go to work, like, and that's kind of gone even now. Like, people just do their own thing, make their breakfast, and they don't even watch TV. They watch their YouTube videos in the morning and then they go to work or school or whatever. I have no idea why any of this even actually kind of exists anymore, but whatever. I'm surprised it's even still around.
Theo, I know you're an avid watcher of The View.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
He seems like the target demographic.
Yeah, well, the real problem with The View, I've said they should cancel The View for a long time because of the lack of diversity. I mean, why aren't there any trans women on The View? Where are the trans women? Where are the penises on that panel? I need to see some girl.
How do you know there? How do you know there isn't? No.
I guess I don't. Good Lord, no. I mean, it's look. This is women who don't know anything yapping about nonsense. These are women who are paid millions of dollars every year to yap and mislead. It's just you know what your mom is going to be upset about based on what's on The View. Like if I'm going to have a tense phone call with my mother and she's going to be anxious about something, it's because they were talking about it on The View. This is not a place that, I don't know. This is not a place that well-informed adults go to get information.
I mean, yeah, if anything nowadays, if anything.
See what they said on The View today?
If anything nowadays,
accurate.
If anything nowadays, like your mom walks in on you, like reading a book late at night or playing a video game late at night, whatever you're doing, you could just be like, well, yeah, whatever. Let's just say you're 10, Oh, maybe that's a thing then too, whatever. I don't know. But you could just be like, you know what, Mom, but Trump's a fascist. And she'd be like, you're correct. And then she'll just let you go about your business because you watched her watch The View. And now you can just get away with whatever you want. I don't know. Is that the only thing that it's useful for? Is like really shitty 10-year-old excuses, or
what's crazy? I mean, Emerald, I don't know if you remember this clip, but do you remember? There's this clip going around online. I didn't bring it with me, but it's when Trump going on The View in like 2015, and they introduced him as my wonderful friend Donald, who's so amazing, and everybody loves him, and he's charming, and he goes on there, and they all love him, and then. Less than a year later, they're talking about him like he's a Hitler. How do you go from like, here's the thing. I've been hanging out with you guys for a bit. There's no way in 6 months I would conclude that I would go from these guys are pretty cool to these guys are Hitler. There's no way. There's no way unless I caught you being Hitler. Like, I would have to, like, if I caught you if you got caught with like a basement full of baby oil and some kids were locked up, I might drop you. But it would have to be something like that.
Next time my background's going to be all green screen and it's just going to say cancel Theo all across all this. Like, it's just be like, I met him 3 times and I hate that guy now. Oh my God.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I don't know how they made it. Here's the thing. It's obvious. Here's the thing. Trump is a sales guy. So that's what I hear him say. Everything's amazing. Everything's spectacular. It sounds like sales to me. So, of course, he's charming. He's great to meet in person. He's probably really cool to hang out with. And his time on The View reflected that.
Yeah.
So
made a campaign stop on the Joe Rogan podcast Friday night. And with all the issues Americans are going to be voting on,
I got the wrong clip.
You know where they started the interview? Take a look.
It was the episode of you when you were on The View. And I think it was 2015 or 2006, like when you were running for president.
Right.
Okay, let's stop there. There's a lot of fake news coming up, so we're going to clear some of it up as it happens. It was actually, in that clip, is 2011, 4 years before he announced he was running. Okay? That's the first thing they got wrong. Next.
You got introduced as our friend Donald Trump.
That's right.
Whoopi Goldberg gives you a big hug and a kiss. Joy Behar gives you a big hug. Barbara Walters gives you a big hug. They all loved you.
So
they don't like the truth being pointed out to them. That's the thing about it, is that this happened. It's on video, and that's all Joe is talking about and Joe is bringing up.
They're showing his first appearance, not the 2015 appearance.
Correct.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
Because it did happen.
So, right. This all did happen. And yeah, they're trying to say, well, what they were saying of him showing up in 2015 and our reaction to him, that's fake news. Yeah. That wasn't 2015.
Before you hit play her face, I like George. I like to hug him and pet him and call him Greg.
I think that's going to be clippable right there.
Watch.
Donald Trump is a billionaire, a real estate mogul, and a television star. But does he really want to add president of the United States to his resume? A lot of people would like him to. Please let's find out, and please welcome my friend, Donald Trump.
My friend, yes.
Oh, bad clip, bad stop. But that's the whole point. My friend. Barbara coming on saying, my friend.
Yeah. Do we have the clip of 2015 when he went on?
I would have to look for it.
Okay. Go on. I'll do it.
Okay.
We're so happy to have you. Whenever you're on with us, we're very happy.
Great stop. And so if you notice, there doesn't seem to be any cringing away from him. There doesn't seem to be really any disgust with the people, with the women of the View there in 2011. Seem to be fine.
I can't find it.
It probably got scrubbed in some way or another.
Oh, yeah.
Barbara was her usual polite self, as she was with every guest.
We're going to rewrite history. Welcome to 1984. We know what you saw. We know we're showing you this clip, but you need to ignore it because it did not happen. They're going to try to memory hole it, show you it, and then just kind of scrub it.
Yeah, it goes back to who are you going to believe, me or your own lying eyes, or whatever, are you going to believe the video or your own lying eyes? And that's literally like the Democrat strategy all the time, which that's what's kind of made me start. Like, I usually don't care. And I mentioned this before or whatever. It's like, I was never this way or that way. I usually just don't care. But when it's so blatant and I'm like, wait a minute. Like, how can I watch these clips back to back? How can I watch all this stuff? And I know some like news sources take stuff out of context and whatever, but then you watch the full thing. It's like, you know what? I'm going to go out of my way and I'm going to watch the full thing. And it's like, actually, it's exactly how usually, like when let's say the right side presents these things, it's just the full clip. They're just like, here it is in full context. Here you go. And it's like, that was pretty straightforward. What the hell happened? And then the left is like, they cut it up in like jumbled mess and whatever. And you're just like, what the hell is going on? And it's like, of course I can't believe you. And it's like, do I believe that like, every politician is going to do things straightforward? Of course not. I don't believe that at all. Like I said, I grew up in a time where we're all against the government in general, whatever, who cares? But I'm like, oddly enough, like they're the least lying side. I guess I would go with them. Like, yeah, we're 90% truthful, or 80%. It's better than 100% dishonest, like by a long shot. So whatever. Yeah, that's where I'm at with a lot of this stuff.
Did they know he was Hitler when they were being polite to him?
Like, apparently not.
Because
when he hugged the black woman, yeah,
it seems like she's saying, well, we knew he was Hitler then, but we're polite to our guests.
Yeah,
have
him on now. See how polite they are.
Well, no. It's how it's all the whole point. Well, we were just co-host. It was actually Barbara's show, and Barbara was just being her polite self. Though we had just straight disgust from him from the moment we set eyes on him. Well, that's not true. Wish I could find that clip, and maybe in later we can find it. Where Whoopi actually does say, I love. It actually says, "I love you," to Donald. But I think they've scrubbed that. I mean, I'm having a heck of a time even trying to find it.
It just shows how fake all of them are, and they're just like, well, we're either paid to say this, and of course we're just going to go along with what we're paid to say, or they were actually on board with it at the time. And then they get the next revisionist thing the next year when it's like, actually, this guy might be your fucking president. And they're like, oh, goddamn, now we gotta switch sides. And it's like you swear, like if that guy didn't come up to you and was like, "Hey, you want to be on the next show that I'm about to be on?" That none of them would have just jumped at that opportunity right then and there. Of course they would. They jump ship. They don't care. It's all about the money to them. Which, hey man, when you're in that business, that's the business. Money is the business. Or money's the business for everything. It's like, so to sit there and be that dishonest, people will immediately stop believing you over and over and over again. And to sit there and do that, people are going to believe you less and less and less and less all the time. And it's crazy that even people can sit there and be like, they were right the whole time. No, you weren't. You're dishonest the whole time. You've been done. Actually, all that shows is you've been dishonest for the last fucking 10 years. Like that's all that shows.
I've been searching since you said something. I found this is the only thing I found that mentions more than one appearance on The View. When I did the Donald Trump, Whoopi Goldberg telling Donald Trump, "I love you," it was nothing. That's all been scrubbed. But this link I just posted.
You using Google or using a Brave? Because
I'm using Google. This shows supposedly a 17-minute clip of all his appearance on the View.
17 minutes or 17 appearances?
Well, 3 minutes. 3 minutes, 57 seconds.
Okay. Let me open it up in a new window here. And
you know what's crazy about The View is they don't even have to talk about politics. Like, nobody asked their opinion. Like, they could literally capture 100% of the middle-aged and up at-home woman audience if they wanted to by just talking about, like, fucking, like, menopause and tampons and fucking puppies and whatever the fuck else they want to talk about. No one asked what they thought about the president. No one asked. Like, they made the decision to start talking about the election. And they could have done it neutrally. They could have had both candidates on, whatever. They could have done that, and they wouldn't be alienating anyone, and they wouldn't make themselves look like doofuses. That's not even necessary.
Don't make your mama angry, please.
They're just whipping women up into a frenzy for no good reason.
Well, it's like the only thing that people would ask them for, and like this is not the group of people to ask them for, would possibly be like beauty tips, like what do you use for this? And this is not the group of women to ask for,
Like maybe one or two that you should listen
bring
to.
on a guest, bring on like what's her name, Salma Hayek or whatever. It's like, how do you still look this good at 52 or however old she is now? And it's like, how do you do this?
Every good-looking woman,
women would watch that. Women would watch that and to be like, yeah, I want to look like that when I'm 50. 100%, Sophia Vergara.
So this is another great freeze frame of Whoopi there.
Watch hot topics these days, but the current White House resident used to love to come on The View. He did. He appeared a total of 18 times. Wow. Check out his top 5 moments here on The View.
Maybe a spoof.
The video glitching is actually funnier.
He said the guy wears a tube. He says that it's his own hair. So I believe him because I believe Donald. He's an upstanding American. Yeah. But America doesn't believe him. We've gotten, a letter poured in yesterday. I'm asking, is that really his hair? Oh my God.
Wow, the crowd seems to love him too.
Okay, you ready? Come on, let's check it out.
No, it's true. It's real.
It's not very pretty, but it's real.
Number 4.
I've said that if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
Stop it! Oh, it's so weird. Stop
That's a weird comment.
Yeah.
It is.
But they're playing with it.
Outrageous things, Mr. Trump. Woody Allen. Number 3.
I'm saying illegal immigration is a tremendous problem in this country, and I want them out. I also feel we have to have a border.
I just want to be clear.
Yes.
Because not all Mexican immigrants are murderers and rapists. I just want to straighten that up.
Not what he said at all.
That's not what he
said. Illegal.
To get people.
Illegal.
Yeah, that's
There's
the problem.
Key word they always miss.
Sorry. Well, it's the key word that they miss all the time with a lot of stuff. It goes back to all of the propaganda that they did around his speeches, like him saying where it would be, if he didn't get elected, there would be a bloodbath. That's what they ran with in the mainstream media, though he was saying
about the car industry.
Right. If he lost the election, then the auto industry, because of EVs, would be a bloodbath for them with the EV market if he doesn't win. That's what it was in reference to. But they took Trump said, if I don't win in 2025, ... there's going to be a bloodbath.
Harumph.
Yeah, they've cut up a bunch of clips, and then when people show it out there, and like the mainstream media doesn't understand that people are, I don't know, chronically online a lot more than they used to be, even more so since 2020, especially because they got used to being inside. A lot of people get to work from home now. They get to just, I don't know, browse the internet a lot more, that they get access to these full clips, and they're like, well, oh, that sounds weird. And they're like, well, let me see the full clip then, because what else did he talk about? And then they watch the full thing, and it's like, actually, what he said wasn't that at all. And even just that, let alone people actually going out and making their own videos and be like, oh, here's the full context, because people cut those up and whatever all the time. And by doing so, it exposed the mainstream media as being even worse than they come off as people kind of already feel they were or felt they were. And it's just gotten worse and worse, and they can't really recover from it, and they don't know how to recover from it, where it's like, the only thing you need to do to recover from it is to, I don't know, be a fucking journalist and do your goddamn job, because that's not what you're doing at all.
The additional propaganda goes into the both good people on both sides. That's been debunked. I mean, they keep bringing it up. Biden was really big on keep bringing up that comment, even though mainstream media themselves even debunked the good people on both sides, and they
even
still
left-wing
came
media
out with
did.
it. The left-wing media even debunked it, and they were still pushing that lie. So going back to the video,
people to not be illegal anymore is to throw everybody out. How will you find everybody?
People have to go through a process. I want to have people come into the country, but they have to come in legally.
Number 2.
Somebody attacks you, should you attack back?
I believe yes. And I believe I could give you lots of examples, but if you're known as a patsy, if you're known as somebody that takes it, I think it's terrible.
Well, but the ad hominem attacks, those really are not effective. Personal attacks, like you're fat, you have no talent, all the things he says.
Why aren't they effective? Donald's been doing them.
Well, because he's in a leadership position. I'm not sure that that's an effective way to attack your opponent.
Strange thing has happened over the last couple of years called Twitter. And I have this account with millions of people.
Right.
And I've got all these, and I used to say I want to own a newspaper. This is better.
And the number 1 presidential review moment is...
So you recently said about President Obama, I'm going to quote you, he grew up and nobody knew him. Nobody knows who he is until later in his life. The whole thing is very strange. What are you driving at there? Are you a birther, Donald?
Okay. Something on that birth certificate that he doesn't
What?
like.
Oh, my God.
That's a terrible
that is
thing
just
to say.
Whoopi, I'm telling you.
3 pounds.
Donnie, I love you.
Donald,
I'm telling
I love
you.
you too. I think that's the biggest pile of dog mess I've ever
There was.
Was he wrong about any of that? Was he wrong about any of that, though? Like everything he said was like,
who started? Well, we'll go around. Who started the whole Obama birth certificate controversy? Who started it? Theo, who do you think it was?
Oh, geez. I don't know.
My guess would be Hillary. Like, I can't remember because
if I was going by the mainstream media, if I was going by mainstream media narrative, I would say it was some right-wing kook who and a racist, some right-wing racist is going to be my guess. I'm going to guess some right-wing racist like David Duke or I don't know, some talk radio guy like Rush Limbaugh, one of these big scary guys on the right. Right? Is that who started it?
Syfaxx, what's your thought? Who do you think started it?
My guess, because I didn't graduate high school till 2007, so I wasn't able to vote till about 2008, which would have been, or actually late 2007, whatever. So around then, well, I guess 2008 would be 2009, whatever, it doesn't matter. But my guess would be probably actually like Hillary probably brought it up to that. My guess is Hillary, whatever.
And Darnell, your thought?
The View.
You think it was The View that brought up the birther?
Mainstream media.
Okay. So Syfaxx is correct. The birther was Hillary Clinton doing an attack during the primary against Barack Obama. That's who started it.
That was just a guess, by the way.
Shenanigans. I call shenanigans.
Ooh. Famous right-wing racist Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
But when he became president,
Democrat right-winger.
because he became president, and Hillary was, well, we're not going to touch that. We're not going to do that anymore. Anytime then it was brought up afterward, it was automatically, well, clearly it's a right-wing conspiracy. It's clearly right-wing. It was the right wing that came up with it. No, that's not where it started. That did honestly come from Hillary Clinton's campaign.
Came from their own side.
Yeah.
Because they eat their own, man. And that's been true the whole time.
Okay,
That's crazy.
Pull this back up here. Okay. This is why The View is causing so much controversy. The View has been long at the center of controversy, obviously sparking debate due to its bold opinions and the comments made by its panelists. Recently, the show has come under fire again, particularly following statements made by Piers Morgan in an op-ed from the New York Post. Morgan called for the cancellation of The View, criticizing its host for their consistent opposition to the former president, Donald Trump. Okay, I got to stop there. When was this written? Okay, you clearly, you don't have, the author of this clearly does not have a very Americanized name, so I don't know if it's an American, but this article was written on November 28th, 2024. The proper way to address him is president-elect, not former president.
Yeah, I feel like if I say that name, my air conditioner is going to blow up. But all right,
you just summon one of the great old ones.
Just a demon's going to come into my room and I'll be like, "The hell's this?" I mean, I'll make a deal with it, but just to get
his op-ed. In his op-ed, Morgan claimed The View had become a one-sided platform that no longer resonated with a significant portion of the American audience. True. The host have frequently voiced their discontent with Trump, which Morgan believes has alienated viewers. Wow, Morgan's kind of spot on. The show's political directions, including the heated exchange between Hostin and Griffin over school choice and Behar's candid remarks about election loss, have fueled the controversy. However, despite this backlash, The View continues to see strong ratings, and its diverse panel and differing opinions continue to draw significant attention. There is really no diversity on that channel. That's why the heads of ABC have been making calls and trying to get more conservative members onto the set.
Watch, the View panels could be 35 people before you know it.
That's the thing, is like they think diversity should just be, skin color and basically literally just skin color and or trans and whatever. But honestly, what you want is diversity of opinion. Diversity of opinion is what could actually drive real conversation and real views, because then you could actually have, I don't know, this crazy thing they haven't done in years called a conversation. They don't know how to do that anymore. They don't know how to drive a conversation anymore, because it's like, hey, why do you like this? Why do you like this? Okay, let's battle it out. And then you can have a real open dialogue about the problems that are going on. And if you started doing that, some of these shows might actually start, it'd be crazy for them, but they might actually build some viewership. That's why Joe Rogan invites like just about anybody on there. He was like, yeah, man, I would like to think aliens are real. Does he actually believe it fully? He's like, no, but like at the same time, I kind of would like that to be real. Like it's a fun topic of dialogue or whatever. And it's like, he can have conversations with all sorts of people who are very into whatever the hell they're into, and then he's open to that dialogue. But when it comes to shows like this, it's like, no, what we're talking about is right. That everything that we're saying is the only thing that's right. and anybody else that even comes in with like an opposing opinion just gets rejected and thrown out the window. So it doesn't become a conversation anymore. It just becomes like you're just getting berated because you're wrong, and it's like, but I'm not wrong. Like I'm holding the other side's opinion. I don't know. I'm being logical about it.
Theo, there was something you wanted to say?
What happens.
Yeah, no, that's the problem. It's like they can't keep. Here's the thing: every good-looking woman gets chased off that show. They just hound her until she leaves, and it's always the conservative ones that are the good-looking ones. I think that's what it's about. I think it's looks jealousy, to be honest with you. They can't keep conservative panelists on that show because all they do is harass them and just make them feel bad. I mean, if you're a conservative woman, you want to go on The View. And the ones they do bring on, they're like Anna Navarro, once upon a time, was a conservative, and they just beat her down until she started parroting all the anti-Trump stuff. You know, like they can't. I don't think they could keep a good panel. Whoa, hey, Celebrity Master Swag King is in the chat. Love to see
MSK,
that.
you can replace me with him in a minute if he's down to jump on, because I got to leave in just a couple minutes.
Yep, we're gonna do your outro right now so that you can
Right on.
take off for your next show. So Syfaxx, where are you gonna be next?
Okay, yeah. So I'm still just doing the Cobra Kai reviews. There's no real movies that I want to watch this week. I was thinking about Moana 2. I'm not a huge Disney fan, and the first movie was whatever. So I'm like, I don't know. I'll probably sail the high seas for that one. I mean, it should be right in line with the movie. You know, there's a lot of water in it, so whatever. But other than that, if people have checked out my last video that I mentioned on your guys' show last night, which was I posted a band video. It's an old band video of mine. It's years ago. Like we were all pretty drunk, and it's death metal. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. But I don't know. Go check it out, and you can see if you can decide if I'm a good guitar player or not. But yeah, and then catch me on random streams. Like I'm about to go on DA right now. That's the only reason I'm leaving is just because anytime he invites me on, like he's the one that got me started with all this stuff. So I'm like, all right, I got to go jump on. And like I'd like to go support the people who started me out, of course. So, but any other time you invite me on, whatever. I'm down to come on. You guys are always great to hang out with, and I've subscribed to all your channels. And thanks for having me on, man. You guys are great.
Yeah, thanks for joining in.
I'm gonna peace out. But you guys have a good one. Good night. I'll probably catch the rest of it later on a last recap of whatever you guys are talking about, because I try to listen to anything that's going on. So. Anyways, thanks for having me on, guys. You guys have a good one.
Thank you. Take it easy.
Peace.
The demon cat is back.
Yeah,
he's messing with your. He's really messing.
Yeah, he creates technical difficulties whenever he can. This is.
Dad, pay attention to me, Dad. Stop looking at the computer. Look at me.
Bro, I got to get a second cat just so he has something to do, man.
That's why I got a second one.
Or twice the fun.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Okay, so let me pull up the banner and go get to the next one.
MSK asking an important question in the chat. Is being a conservative gay?
On Tuesdays.
Definitely on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
No, really? I got to disagree a little bit on that one. I think it's I thought it was Wednesdays, hump day.
Right. Yeah.
It's Taco Tuesday, so it can't be gay on Tuesday.
Yeah, well, I think it depends on if you're U.S. or Canada. I think in Canada they do their gay day on Wednesday. That's what it is.
See, it's our proximity to Canada. That's the reason I got it confused.
That's right.
Oh, Christ.
So more additional information on why the View should get canceled. And I'm in the view that, you want to know what? If they're not producing a quantity of a show that's really bringing in honest viewership, you want to know what? It's just time to let it go. If they're going to continue down the same path they've been going, there's no reason to keep it on. But reason why is that Whoopi Goldberg goes out there and tries to cancel out a bakery. Does lies about a bakery because she was refused service over her politics, which turned out to be a lie. And I guess the bakery is kind of looking at the possibility of legal action.
Defamation.
That's defamation.
I would.
So the bakery responded to Whoopi's allegations that refusal of her service was over political view. While celebrating her 69th birthday, on The View, Whoopi Goldberg suggests the bakery that made the Charlotte Rose desserts the cast were enjoying had refused her serve. I can't talk now. My tongue's getting tied. Refused her service due to her left-leaning politics. Her quote. We're not going to read her quote. We'll go to where it actually. Let's see, right here. I should tell you that the Charlotte Rose has no political leanings. The place that made these refused to make them for me. They said their ovens were down, but folks went and got them anyway, which is why I'm not telling you who made them. Well, it was kind of an obvious, and it wasn't really kind of hidden in any kind of way. It's not because I'm a woman, but perhaps they didn't like my politics. But that's okay, because you know what? Listen, this is my mother's celebration. Pick these up, celebrate with me and my mom. Thank you, everyone, for celebrating my birthday today. Yeah, except for what the response actually was from the bakery. So Jill Holderman, owner of Holderman's Bakery, reiterated the boiler problem prevented them from committing to Goldberg's order. Not the View's host of political views. She explained to Goldberg had attempted to place an order for the Charlotte Russe desserts on November 6th appearance on the talk show and for the November 13th edition of The View. Holterman declined the order because she didn't want to make a commitment she could not fulfill. What's wrong with that?
Imagine being a business and you have a totally legitimate reason why you can't fulfill an order because you have an equipment problem, and then you open your phone and you find out that a famous person is using their platform to try to accuse you of something that didn't even happen.
Like, this bitch right here.
That's crazy. Because it's such a disproportionate thing. She has so much more ability to reach people and spread the message than they do. Like, they're just a business. They're just trying to do a bit. Just trying to bake stuff. You know, they don't want to be involved in this.
Dude. Yeah, the bakery and the citizens that live around that bakery came out with a very strong response. And I mean, they really went after Whoopi over her comments. But it's things like this specifically that I'm inclined to go, you want to know what? It is time to just end The View. These women have gone unchecked for too long. And this is just continuing to the political rot that's happening in our country. But one thing that has been nice to see lately, though, is all of the, I like to call it The View getting community noted by their legal. In one episode, they had like 4 or 5 legal notes. They came out with a statement like they was fact, and then they had to read a legal statement from ABC News to correct because they didn't come out and say, well, in my opinion, X. No, they came out stating it as a fact. And so, yeah, they got handed, and it was Sunny Hostin that constantly had to come out and kept
you saw
saying
her face?
It.
She was pissed. She was burning up.
Yeah.
So I'd love to see it.
Hey, no, you know what? No complaints from me. That's fine. You want to know what? Keep community noting them. It adds more fuel to the fire of, you want to know what? More reason to get rid of them. And I think the more that they do this, I really do think that it's adding fuel to the reason why we are, a couple months away, and not a couple months. We are almost 4 weeks until 2025. And yet ABC still has not come out in a declaration of renewal or cancellation. I think they're scrambling, trying to find a conservative co-host. And if they can't find conservative co-hosts, I think they're going to cancel it.
So do you, let's say they do find one. Do you think they're going to add a panelist, or they can remove one and put the conservative up there?
I think they'll add, because they are not going to want to alienate. But what conservative woman's going to want to jump on that show?
Well, right, because if you bring one in, you got 1 on 5. You need to bring at least 2 or 3 in.
It's got to be. Could we do a little bit? ABC would be more wise to look at the makeup of the View and do it by demographic.
Yeah. Where's a man? Huh?
Fox has that.
I vote this guy. I put this guy on the View.
Yes, I would let do send me on the View. I'll get those broads in check. You just calm down, ladies. Let's tone it down.
Calm down.
You know,
see,
the problem,
I'm not too. Oh, go ahead.
Good. No, I was gonna say the problem is, I think what's tripping up the View, and this is the through line through all of these mainstream media stories. We always thought they were lying, but now because of the internet, we know. It's so much harder for them to get away with it now. And it's not just that we know, like people who were conspiracy theorists, we always thought everybody was lying, and our friends would always say, "Oh, tone it down." But now, because of the internet, everybody knows that they're lying to us. They've been caught so many times. That's why she has to read these legal notices on air. Because they got caught. Do you think that was the first time that they told an egregious lie? No way. It was just the first time they were caught so bad they didn't have a choice. That's what's going on here.
Yeah.
And so now they're scrambling, like you're saying. They're trying to figure out, shoot, what are we going to do? We got these broads who don't really know anything. They keep lying just from ignorance and their emotional outbursts. God, we got to have something to keep them in check. What do? Do we get a whole new panel? Do we hire a research team? Do we try to turn these people into legitimate journalists?
Do we bring a dude on?
Just bring. And here's the thing: what conservative? Darnell makes a great point. What conservative woman is going to want to go on there? Because they brought on even milquetoast conservatives like Elizabeth Hasselbeck or Meghan McCain. They chase them off because they bully these women. They chase them. What woman wants to go into work knowing that she's going to get mean girled by a bunch of other women, and that's her job? How much money would it be worth to just get emotionally destroyed every day on television?
I would need to be the highest paid on that panel for that to happen.
Yeah, well, that's crazy.
And they're not going to be, because it's going to go to the ones that have been there for years. Joy, Whoopi.
Yeah, and don't get me
Sunny
wrong.
Hostin.
Don't get me wrong. I think it's, I honestly would not have a problem with The View if they just if they just did regular female yapping. That's what they should be doing. Just talk about, I don't know, what some famous person's boobs, or like you're saying, skincare tips or something. Just
what
talk
cleanser works best in the kitchen.
There it is.
Come on.
That's right.
Hey, I love cooking. Don't take that from me. I love to cook.
Well, no, cleaning. I said cleaning. I didn't say anything about cooking.
I thought you said colander. I don't know why I thought you said that.
No. That's what we should be talking about. There's no way that these people are qualified to weigh in on political issues. There's no way, especially with how complicated the world is now and everything that's going on. They're just adding nonsense to the atmosphere. So that's why you've got to think. Imagine you're an executive at ABC and you got to be like, oh man, these broads keep lying. How many more legal notices do we want to print out and make them read? This is making us look bad. The viewership is dropping. I agree with MSK. I think he should be on the show.
I would. Oh, absolutely. I would.
Absolutely.
Oh my God, yes. Good God, yes. And there's one Hispanic chick. There's one Hispanic chick, I think.
That's Sunny Hostin.
No. She was black.
Is Anna
she?
Navarro still on there?
It's Anna Navarro.
It's Anna Navarro. Yeah, Hostin's black. Yeah, she's half black, one or the other.
Bro, if you had to bang one of them.
I do all I do them all except for Whoopi.
The camera woman behind camera 2.
I mean,
no, sight unseen, just the camera woman.
Camera woman.
Emerald, it's a dude. So don't care.
Even so,
don't care. I would do them all except for Whoopi, man. because I know she's like a chain smoker, and that's like my big like X for me. Like I've thrown up in a girl's mouth because she was a smoker because it just tastes disgusting to me.
So, going back to the article here, Staten Island Borough President. So this went all the way to the borough president in a response. Let's see, Vito Fossolina came to the bakery's defense in a press conference. It's been here for 145 years. They had a boiler that is 60 or 70 years old, and the first week in November, guess what? It went on the fritz. They had to replace it. And the reputation of Holdman's has been impeccable. So rather than commit to something that they could not guarantee, they said, we can't do it. And the person who besmirched, defamed them, took that as an insult to her. Well, get over it. This is family will be here for, God willing, another 145 years. So even the people of New York did not care for this elitist Hollywood commentator besmirching and defaming a family bakery that's been there for 145 years.
Crazy. Can you imagine being so self-absorbed? I can't imagine. Like, I'll walk into Dunkin' Donuts and I'm just like, oh, you don't have the donut that I want? That's you. This must be. You must know who I am, know what my political beliefs are, and this is a personal attack against me. I must attack back. Can you imagine being that self-absorbed? Instead of being like, oh, you don't have the donut that I want? Do you have a different donut? I could just eat a different donut. It's just a ball of sugar. You just give me a different one. Just give me a different ball of sugar. That'd be fine.
Do you not know who I am? Why don't you have any more fucking maple bars made? What the hell is wrong with this place? You want to know what? I'm taking to social media.
Crazy. I can't imagine being that up my own ass.
Okay, so my stupidity would do this. I would go to a bakery. They have what I want. And I would go online and just be like, I cannot believe this bakery had exactly what I was looking for today. It was very tasty and freshly made. Give them like a positive review, a positive thing, but make it sound negative.
Yeah.
There's people like, what the fuck is wrong with this dude?
That's great.
Cannot believe you had it. Yeah, there you go.
You just one-upped on social media credit right there.
Woo! Oh, good God.
Yeah, so I'm fine with the ending of The View.
Yeah.
What are your guys' thoughts?
It needs to go. Isn't there another channel that has another show like The View? Like The Opinion
they
or
had
something?
CBS had one, I believe.
It was called The Something.
Yeah, I can't remember what their show was called.
Mario Lopez was one of the panelists.
Yeah. And then you have Fox News that has a show called Outnumbered, where I believe it's 5 women and usually will bring on a man.
In this case, had 9 more seasons.
9 seasons in a movie. Theo?
Yeah, no, here's what you do. You just fire all the panelists, get a whole new panel, just a bunch of like OnlyFans models and Instagram thoughts and Christian influencers, and just get them to just fight it out.
So that whatever podcast?
Yeah,
I was
just do
gonna say, isn't that the whatever.
Yeah, just the whatever podcast, no men present. Just let
Bring them on.
Just fight with each other. That would
And
be.
Gorlock has to be a panelist.
Yes. Yes. Where is the trans woman representation? I agree. We need more dick at that table. That's what I say.
Clip that.
That's what.
Well, there we go.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that made the clip for the night. There we go.
Link in bio, baby. Yeah. Let's do it.
Whoa, transvestite, back off.
I can't wait to explain that in an interview later. That's gonna be great.
Oh crap!
Just tell him you're open-minded.
Yeah.
Oh, good God.
Okay, so now, as a result of the elections, because with the media, specifically mainstream media, so we're talking about cable news networks, we're talking about even over-the-air network TV news, MSNBC viewership craters to 38%, CNN 27%, while Fox News saw a jump of 41% in post-election. And that's already from their lows.
Yeah. I don't know if we're going to see the end of the MSM. I think they're going to pivot. And if they don't, then yeah, the specific shows or channels that won't pivot are going to disappear. But I think they're going to have to pivot and try and hold on to like to whatever's the majority, I guess.
I'm all in for, and tell me I'm wrong or agree or disagree with me. I can see a world in which Elon buys CNN.
Mm-hmm.
No, correction, MSNBC. MSNBC, because their parent company, Comcast, is now spinning off all of the cable networks.
Yeah.
Now, do I think it's going to happen? No, I don't think so. It would be hilarious because you want to know what? You get rid of, you don't let the host quit. You force them to quit on their own. But if you're going to be here, here's the topics. We are editing. We have that right as a news organization to edit and say what is acceptable and what's not acceptable. And it's going to be praise Trump. Make them back out of the contracts.
Mm-hmm.
You think Rachel Maddow would like that?
No, I think she would possibly end it all on air.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I think a lot of these networks, especially MSNBC, that's been a loser network for a while. Now I think they've known that the demographic of people who get their news from cable is aging. And people are going online for it now. I would say most of the cable news viewership is probably just people who are waiting around in airports watching it on mute. That's most people who are watching cable news now. I don't know anybody who's like their primary source of information is some cable show. I don't know anybody.
Even conservatives and liberals that I know all go use the internet.
Yep.
Facebook or X, whatever.
So
I watched the clips from Fox News for like Greg Gutfeld's show for his monologue and stuff like that. And he currently sitting as the #1 late night host over Kimmel and let's see the other ones. I don't even care.
I love how Kimmel was like held upon this fucking pedestal by the left. Like they completely ignore the fact he was a co-host of the Man Show for a few years. Completely objectified and was horrible for women.
And blackface.
Mm-hmm. Like, that's fine, but like, it just blows my mind that he's like their idol. And he did this shit. Like, he joked about like being a horrible person to women back like 20 years ago.
Yeah, reach in my pocket. What could you guess what's in my pocket? Walking up right behind when a woman's looking through something when she's wearing a short skirt and getting right down
women
there.
on trampolines.
Once these cable news networks go, we got to get rid of the late night comedy talk show.
I used to love late night, man.
It used to be something special, but now it's outdated. And also, they all went political. It used to be something that everybody could just watch, and you would just talk about.
That's why I like Conan.
Pop culture. Yeah, it was just fine. It was just normal. But then all of a sudden, we decided everything had to be political, and every late night host had to have an opinion on the election. I'll tell you what, comedians are not qualified to comment on politics. 99% of them, maybe 1%, know what they're talking about. The rest of them are just repeating what someone smarter than them told them. I mean, do you think Jimmy Kimmel has gotten smarter since he was fucking groping women on the Man Show? You think he's gotten, think he's really educated himself and done the work since then? No.
His education comes from like NBC, ABC here. You need to say these points tonight.
Yep.
Just
and you need to cry at these certain points.
Right. Whatever he has
like
to say to keep his job.
Right. Or the cringe vax dance that they were doing on Colbert's.
Oh,
That's
God.
crazy. That's crazy. Like
MSNBC. Oh,
I was like, people wonder why everybody's going to podcasts. It's like, why is Joe Rogan so popular? I don't know. Maybe because he's honest and you get his actual thoughts, and he's an actual human. Not just saying whatever propaganda points he's been asked to parrot by Big Brother.
Yeah.
Make light not great again. That's all I can say. MSNBC and CNN have shed hundreds of thousands of views, while Fox News viewership has skyrocketed after Donald Trump won the 2024 election. From the day after the election to date, MSNBC has averaged a total day viewership of 521,000, down 38 from its 2024 average through election day, while CNN averaged 367,000 viewers. That's a 27% decline before the election, according to Nielsen figures. Meanwhile, Fox News saw a 41% boost in total viewership, now averaging at 2.001 million viewers. Fox is eating their lunch.
Mm-hmm.
And you brought up earlier with the Rogan and talking about buying MSNBC. You get once Maddow's contract is up, either she forfeits it and breaks contract, or does the rest of her contract. You give that time slot to Rogan.
Oh yeah, that would piss her off.
It's like, look at these big political podcasts, maybe even some of the left wing podcasts. Fine, but you turn MSNBC into the podcast show.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's YouTube. It's YouTube with slotted slots for these hosts.
That'd be nice.
Yeah,
even if it's just a clip of their show, like Rogan only having an hour-long show instead of a 3-hour.
Yeah, let's just get something that people are actually going to watch. And also, like, people like getting their news from comedians anyway. Like, we've definitely gotten to a point where we find these mainstream Ivy League educated journalists to be pretentious and insufferable. They talk down to us. They don't have any respect for regular people. So let's get some cool people on TV. Let's do it. Like, even like Jimmy Dore is a big lefty. Let's get him on there.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, why not? Let's get somebody who's actually going to question honestly, I think everybody who's doing a news opinion show should be questioning what the government is doing. That should be the job. That should be the job of what they do. Because here's the thing: the president is not supposed to get unqualified support from the media. That's not how it's supposed to work. That if you're sitting in that chair, everything you do should be scrutinized. Because you're so powerful. You got so much power. You got so much influence.
Yep.
We should be watching you very closely to make sure you're doing what you said you would do. Even if it's Trump, if he gets caught doing something he's not supposed to be doing, we should know about it. He should be held accountable. Nail him to the wall. Absolutely.
Doesn't matter right-wing media or left-wing media. You hold that was the whole point. It's supposed to be the unofficial fourth branch of the government.
Yeah,
keeping the other branches in check.
Whether
it be the Supreme Court, the Congress, or the executive branch.
I vote for insert title here as a new MSM show.
Yeah.
We'll work on the viewership.
Go on any network, and we'll just go there and give our unbridled opinion and watch your viewership spike. Not you, the network.
Mm-hmm.
Elon, if you're watching, consider this show for MSNBC.
Yes. And we swear we will make sure that there are no cats attacking cameras.
We'll do great. We'll do wonderful at the 2 a.m. time slot.
Yes. And that's a perfect slot.
We'll be the number one show at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
No, because we can't take mainstream. No. We can't have the main time slot. No, that's just not going to work for us.
No. We're all sleeping at that time. Oh, Christ.
So primetime viewership similarly created for MSNBC and CNN, with MSNBC seeing a 48% decrease following the election of its average viewership, 691,000, while CNN slid 35% to an average of 470,000 viewers. Fox News primetime audience grew 34% with an average viewership of 3.157 million.
That's insane.
Definitely a change in the landscape when it comes to the media, but the amount of people that are actually watching is reducing for the sheer fact that everyone's cutting the cord. No one's really subscribing to cable as much anymore.
No.
They're buying an antenna and getting the shitty digital signal that breaks up whenever there's a plane that flies overhead, and then and getting their clips from either YouTube or going to Twitter for their news.
Yeah. I think, people cutting that cord was like I'm not going to say a fad, because I don't think it's ever going to go away, but I do think cable is going to come back at some point. There's too many services. There's too many streaming services. And too many, okay, look, the NBA is moving to Prime.
Yeah.
NFL, I think, is going to move to Prime in a few years. You know, it's you're going to have to stream. It's going to get to some point where the all these companies are going to be like, hey, let's make one system that everyone can watch everything. Oh, you mean like cable? I just think it's going to eventually go back to cable.
A lot of people, like you're saying, a lot of people don't even have cable anymore. I don't think that trend is going to reverse. The only time I've watched any kind of cable news in the last 6 or 7 years was I was either at an airport or I was on election night, I was tuned in on the Roku channel. They got a live of CNN. But no, I don't watch cable. I don't even have cable.
Wait. You were on this show and you had something else on your TV while we were doing this show?
I had to stay informed, Emerald. I had to be bringing the hottest, freshest takes.
Let's see. MSNBC ratings in the key demo among adults 25 to 54 also slid 53% in prime time and 41% in total day, while CNN's demo audience dropped 35% in prime time and 26% in total day. Likewise, Fox News saw a 46% jump in the demo viewership in prime time, while the network's total day viewership soared 49%. Yeah, no wonder Comcast is trying to get rid of the news networks.
Yeah,
it's a loser. It's a loser for them. And I think, and also I think people are sick of being lied to. Like, I think a lot of people who get their news from the mainstream media, they thought Kamala was going to win. That's a big thing that was going on online. Like, people who get their news from Twitter thought Trump had the edge. But I think the people who consume the mainstream narrative, they were nervous, but they were very confident that Kamala was going to take it. Right. And then it didn't happen and they felt silly. And I think the mainstream media lost their credibility, and they don't have a choice now. They got to work with the new administration. They don't have a choice now. It's crazy because they told everybody that Hitler was going to be president. And then as soon as Hitler became president, they were like, okay, well, maybe we should work with him. I don't know. So
tonight on FNT, Gary pointed out a very great comment and analogy.
Leave it here.
Calling the Southern White House there in Mar-a-Lago King's Landing. And all of these people are coming to bend the knee.
Excellent.
I think Gary did a very good job at that analogy because it's very true. That's exactly what's happening. People like Zuckerberg went to Mar-a-Lago and bent the knee.
Mm-hmm. I don't believe he's going to do it, but yep.
That's crazy.
But other people are starting to show up. Morning Joe. Yep, good point.
They went over there because they used to be tight with Trump, and then they called him Hitler a bunch of times, and he didn't like that, understandably. But now they don't have a choice. They don't have a choice.
Because they know he's in his last term, and all bets are off. Like, he's not going to be what they say, but they know now he has nothing to lose.
Well, and the big problem with Trump's first term, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but his first term, he went in there and he was a brand new thing and people didn't know what he was going to do. He had no choice but to fill his cabinet with Republicans because there was no one No one really knew what he was up to, and and Trumpism, so to speak, was brand new. And there weren't a lot of people outside of people who worked on his campaign directly that could help him. Now it's totally different. He's assembled the Avengers. Everybody I think is cool is on the Trump train. Pretty much everybody that I've been like, man, I really admire that person. They're fucking Tulsi's there, RFK's there, Elon's in the house, fucking Zuckerberg is bending the knee, and not fucking nerdy robotic Zuckerberg. This is cool Zuckerberg. He's got a hot guy haircut. He's got abs. He does jujitsu now.
Zuckerberg's facial expressions.
Yeah, he can move his face.
It does add to the theory that less testosterone, because of not working out and everything else, tends to make you more left wing. But working out and all of this makes you more right wing. And you notice that shift was kind of happening with Zuckerberg. He started working out and stuff like that. And maybe he's kind of coming more centrist a little bit more.
Right. Here's what there's a couple of things with that. I remember when I saw Zuckerberg say that when he saw Trump get shot and then get up and throw up the fist, that was like the most badass thing he'd ever seen. It's like, that's a crazy thing to say in public, bro. The mood has shifted on Trump for sure. I think the thing about working out that does it is you learn that actions have consequences, and that you actually hard work actually can pay off, and you actually can have an influence on your environment. And the big thing with the left is they're like, the world is hurting me and there's nothing I can do about it, and the world needs to change. And the right, it kind of looks at the world hurts me. It's like, man, I guess I better work harder, put my head down, and just do my best with what I've got. And that's the big difference in those philosophies. And I think working out teaches you, right, that you could actually make your life better if you work at it.
Yeah, right? I think it's that plus the chemical your body releases when you work out.
Yeah, I do think I've noticed a lot of low testosterone males seem to be gathering in the left wing. I don't see a lot of left wing guys that are super macho. I tell you what, man, and they don't seem to like macho men over there. They don't like that's toxic. That's toxic. We don't like that. No. Mm-mm.
And it's funny that you bring this up. So ratings for Morning Joe continue to drop after host Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski revealed that they had met with Donald Trump with Wednesday's episode, ranking it as the lowest rated program since 2021, with just 51,000 viewers in the key cable demo among adults 25 to 54. On Wednesday, Morning Joe averaged 647,000 viewers, down 43% from its show average of the third quarter viewership, and 51,000 viewers in the demo, down 60 from the Q3 average. Wow. So what viewers were left for them did not like them going to bend the knee.
Right. Because remember, this is important, they're bending the knee to Hitler. They told everybody he was Hitler. And now he's like, oh, well, we got to work with him. Which means they're either capitulating to Hitler, or they were lying about him being Hitler the whole time. And either way, how can you continue to watch that show? Imagine you're a person who really took what they had to say seriously. Imagine that. Like, that really informed you, and then you're watching them be like, well,
Well, you could see who was consuming. You really could see who was consuming mainstream media after the election with all of the liberal freakouts. Those are the people that are watching mainstream media. Those are the ones that are listening only to leftists online. They're not getting the full picture of what actually is happening.
Yeah.
Thank you, Henry Sishin, for screwing your generation up.
I looked at those, all those girls that you saw just like, freaking out into their phones. I swear to God, the problem is I think a lot of those girls just need husbands. I'm serious, because you think about it, like, sometimes women are upset and sometimes they're just hungry. Like, really, like, you look at those women. How many of those women do you think had a balanced breakfast? Not one of them. Right? They woke up, they had an iced coffee and some nicotine, and they went straight to TikTok. That's what happened. Yeah. And it's like, sometimes you need a man there to be like, okay, honey, I know you're upset. Would you like a taco, though? right? People, we don't talk about this enough. A lot of divorces have been avoided by a well-timed taco. Man, listen.
Wait,
if you
mean the actual food or
both, yeah. I'm telling you, man. If you've ever dated a crazy girl, I have. Sometimes they just need chicken wings. That smooths over a lot of stuff.
Had I known that as a kid, man.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Sometimes they just need to get fed. I'm telling you. I think a lot of
any woman, whether it be a mother, a nurse, a nun, just needs some serious deep dicking.
That's right. And all these women are single. That's the problem. I think because that's the thing. Like married women are based, bro. If you're married with kids, you don't want to fucking light the country on fire and turn it into a socialist hellscape.
Do you think Kevin Smith would ever write a line like that nowadays? I don't think so. Good old Chasing Amy. Yeah,
I've always wanted to convert a woman from Mac to PC. I've always wanted to do that, just turn a lesbian. I always wanted to. I always wanted to take a run at the old Chasing Amy. I never got around to it, but
I've done the opposite.
I turned him into a lesbian.
My 15 girlfriend when I was 15, she called me because back when we only had landlines. Yeah. She called me. She's like, "Hey, look, I'm not. I don't want to go out anymore." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, did I do something wrong?" She said, "No. I'm just into this girl named Sheila now." And
womp womp.
That fucking took the wind out of my sails.
Oh, I hooked up with a girl who married a woman eventually. That was crazy. I pulled up. I was like, "Yo, okay, all right." She really liked my long hair. That was the main thing. And I was like, "Oh, okay, you were okay. I see what was going on here." Bro, I got to get my testosterone levels checked. This is ridiculous.
I'm not your lesbian starter kit. Stop using me as such. Let's see. So CNN now undergo massive layoffs, budget cuts after disappointing election ratings. So this again, just like MSNBC being spun off from Comcast, you already have Bob Iger had said that the core product of Disney is not ABC anymore, which also means ABC News and The View. They're looking to get that off of their books as well. Mm-hmm. So all of these companies and CNN, I don't know if they're still owned by Turner. I honestly don't know who actually owns CNN anymore. But layoffs, seller cuts, reorganization are coming for CNN after it saw less than stellar ratings for its election night coverage. According to reports, CEO Mark Thompson will oversee significant cuts to the channel's news division and pushing for major reorganization of its primetime lineup. The layoffs are expected to affect TV production teams as the team shifts towards a digital-first model. Didn't they already try that with CNN Plus?
Yeah, and it failed horribly. Dude, I think, honestly, this CNN might end up being just something that live streams on Roku, and that's it.
Yeah.
I really think that's where
or
it's
YouTube.
headed.
Right, yeah, you go through the Roku channels, and it's like, hey, look at that, TYT, CNN.
Yeah. Which is crazy if you think about what a Titan CNN used to be. And now they're a glorified YouTube channel.
I mean, it was the world's first 24-hour news network.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah,
CNN
and
has
they had
not
credibility. Oh my God! Like I used to, like if I wanted to know something for sure and I wanted the unbiased perspective, you wanted CNN.
Yeah.
And then after Trump, it seems like they just went crazy.
Well, you have the Washington Post, which was always known as the paper of record. You had CNN, which was essentially the record for cable of where you would go for trusted source. You really can't nowadays, but they've been losing their credibility for years.
Yeah.
And again, this goes why new media is taking over because of the authenticity. It's all about authenticity when it comes to news. It's because, I mean, everyone knows journalists have a political bent. That's fine. Don't try to hide it. Just come out and state it. Okay, so we know everything that you say is this way.
Right.
And when it comes down to my opinion about news, it's simple as that. We need to go back to an old school type model, because there used to be the Republican Journal in Baton Rouge. There used to be the Democrat Times in New York. It stated what their political bias was. We're just the news.
So you knew what you were getting into.
Unbiased is BS.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think people know that now. I think the people this is having the hardest effect on, I think, is older viewers who remember, people who are old enough to remember when Walter Cronkite was a thing are really getting fucked up by this.
The way it is.
Yeah, I have a dear friend, and during the election, her dad went from being just like a normal guy to being a guy who just stands in the living room and screams at the TV because he's so angry at Trump, right? And he's an older guy. It used to be the news didn't just lie to you 100% of the time. It used to be they tried to give you information. Also, it used to be we all got, like, back when there were only like 3 channels, people got pretty much the same news, and they got it from pretty much the same sources, so we're all on the same page. Now everybody gets their own individual news feed from the phone, and the way that they get your attention is by triggering your caveman brain emotions and trying to get you all worked up. And you know what could get you more worked up than, hey, Hitler's coming back, and it's this guy, he's orange now, it's Orange Hitler. Yeah, and that's what happened. And so I think these older viewers that are used to the television news telling them the truth and the newspapers telling them the truth, they don't know what to do. They can't adapt to this new world where we're just surrounded by lies and propaganda all the time.
Sorry. So y'all see the woman talking on the right?
Yeah.
I'm looking at her when you're talking.
Yeah.
So your voice is coming out of her mouth. I'm listening, but like I'm seeing your voice out of her mouth. She's on hormone therapy.
I'm just noticing you might also like the cult of Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
So
clean your room.
Off topic, real quick. That the woman in your voice. My uncle, when I was a kid, there's a channel, EWTN on cable. It's a religious channel. It's always like a priest talking to the camera or like a nun. And this nun was fucking metal. As she got older, she had a fucking eye patch and shit. It was crazy. So he would put that channel on, and then pop on like a Metallica record or like the Beatles or something, and play the audio over the nun talking. It's like she was singing fucking For Of Whom the Bell Tolls.
Hell yeah.
It was great. Sorry. I had to slip that one in there.
Anyway, the shakeup comes after CNN saw disappointing viewership for its election coverage last week. According to the Nielsen rating, CNN garnered only 5.1 million viewers versus MSNBC's 6 million and Fox's 10 million. That's still low numbers across the board for election coverage.
No.
You look at how many votes were cast and then what the actual viewership was. People went to new media. People were going online to watch other people do their streams reporting on the election.
Like us. People were watching us.
And the initial start of this show, the misnomer 8-hour stream that will never happen again until later down the road. That's never going to go that long again. That was a rough one, but exciting and fun nonetheless. Additionally, CNN lost one of its anchors, Chris Wallace, who on Monday announced he's leaving the network after 3 years to do podcasting.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yes. He's going to be the left's Joe Rogan.
Crazy. Well, you know who started that was Tucker Carlson. He got shit canned over at Fox News, and he could have just tucked his tail between his legs and gone away, but he didn't. He interviewed Vladimir Putin on Twitter, and it got bajillions of views, and people were like, "Oh shit, this might be for real." And after that, I think they were cooked. Once Tucker Carlson did not go around begging for a job in cable with his hat in his hand. He went off and started his own thing, and I think after that they were done. Because now, if you're think about this, let's say you're one of these cable dudes, right? Or you're like a Rachel Maddow, or you're like a Anderson Cooper or something. You're one of these cable guys where your name carries a lot of weight with your viewers, and you know that. Why would you go to work for a cable company where they're going to call all the shots? They're going to tell you what to say. They're going to tell you what time you have to show up. Why would you do that when you can just go do your own thing, hang up your own shingle? And just you don't even have to leave your house. You can just like set up a studio. You got millions of dollars you've been making for however long. You can set up your own studio, get all the nicest equipment, hire all the producers that you like working with from CNN, put them on nice salaries, give them nice benefits packages, and just start your own thing. Why not? Probably get more viewers doing that. Yeah, look at that. I mean, shoot, Don Lemon had the golden goose. Like, he was hired to work on X. If he hadn't been such a fucking moron when he interviewed Elon, he could have still been doing that.
Yeah.
Can you imagine you get the chance to interview your boss, you completely shit the bed? Jeez. You can see Elon in real time like, I did not realize how much of a moron this person was. I really should have checked on him before I hired him. That's my bad.
He's another Trump casualty. He left X and went to Blue Sky.
Crazy. What's so crazy about it is like Don Lemon used to be kind of a respectable guy. Like, I used to have a lot of respect for Don Lemon. There's this old video of him going around where he was like, before he got woke, where he was like, he literally, as a black guy, was saying, black people need to clean up their neighborhoods and pull up their pants, respect authority and all this stuff, which is good advice for everybody. I mean, that's not, pick up your trash and pull up your pants is good advice for every young man walking around today could benefit from that advice. I mean, but of course, it was, even though he was a black guy, they accused him of being racist, and they called him every single name under the sun. And, I think he learned from that experience. And, a few years later, he's quoting every single woke talking point. Just like that. We lost another one, and he's like, it's so crazy that he talks about how hard his life is as a gay black man when he's this super wealthy journalist whose talent does not justify how much wealth and influence he has. He's not talented enough or smart enough to have as much wealth and influence as he has, but he does. And he still has the nerve to talk about how racist and homophobic the country he lives in is. This country that's allowed him to ascend to these levels of success.
He put bleach on me and said it's his MAGA country.
Crazy.
So the one thing that I will say overall is that we clearly see the lack of authenticity. Yeah. We know how people used to say things, what their opinions were prior to 2016, and then we saw their brains break.
Yeah.
And that was from that point on when they really went downhill. Now, in the case of Chris Wallace leaving CNN to do podcasting, I think he saw Tucker, as you brought up, and it's a really good point. I think a lot of these news commentators see Tucker as, I can do that too. But there's a difference. Tucker already had a major audience and major viewership when he got shit canned. Now, the thing about it is Wallace is coming from CNN and did not have that viewership. I don't think grandma and grandpa are going to be logging on to a website to watch him.
No way.
It's going to be CNN Plus all over for his solo project.
But yeah, the other thing about Tucker, he had a big audience among young folks. Like, there's a lot of young men on the new right who thought Tucker was based, and they also thought he was memeable, and they were making memes out of his face and like making fun of his bow tie. Here's the thing: when they're doing that, they're watching you. People think, oh, they don't respect. It's like, no. They're watching him. That's why they know he makes these funny faces and he says silly stuff. They're watching. And, like, there's so many clips of Tucker and shorts of Tucker and videos of Tucker and memes of Tucker. It's like, so that means some person who's internet savvy, so some person who's like millennial or Gen Z, who like went in there and watched his show enough to get that clip and turn it into a short. And then the reason they knew that short was going to do well is because it's a Tucker short. He actually has a young audience. Do you think Chris Wallace has a big audience of like millennials and Gen Z who are going to tune in his show online? No, his audience is grannies. That's not going to translate well. But
shout out to Granny Panties.
Yeah, amen. I tell you what, man,
Grannies need love too.
Look,
anyway,
here's the thing. Here's the thing. A lot of these people, they've been told how smart they are, how important their opinion is. They have such an inflated sense of how important they are in the national discourse. Like, I am the arbiter of the truth. I'm informing people. I'm so important. And because they're so high on their own farts, and they walk into a building where everybody calls them sir, and they make millions of dollars, and they have assistants to pull out their chair and wipe their ass. Right? They think they're hot shit. Well, I tell you what, on the internet, nobody gives a shit. It's the Wild West, right? People have giant platforms that they built just from their phone on their bedrooms. They were nobody. They worked at a donut shop, and then they went on Twitter or YouTube. They started doing their thing. Now they got millions of people who care about their opinion. They built that from scratch, and they don't have your Ivy League degrees. They don't have your institutional validation, but what they do have is talent. And dedication and grit. It's like, when was the last time Chris Wallace had to like hustle for an audience? Never. He's never had to hustle for he's never had to be like, hey guys, like and subscribe. I'm trying to get to 80 followers. He's never had to do that, right? He's been on CNN that has a baked in viewership.
Yeah. Very true. So I just sent a link in the private chat. No, yeah, I'm just, and this connects to your point.
Going to do a great show today, and I'm going to help people because I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me. Hello, I'm Stuart Smalley.
Yeah, that's what it is. Every morning in the mirror. Everybody.
What it was what we were talking about last. Hey, it was talking about getting thick skin. Of what I mean, the whole point. It's like, yeah, I stand in front of the mirror. Yeah. Your nose is too big. Your voice is annoying. Boy,
I look at how small my dick is in the mirror all the time.
Hey, well, you're looking a little fat in the stomach.
Yeah,
man, that's
you got it.
Like, hey, all the time I can look at my dick is when I look in the mirror.
Yeah, you got it.
There you are, little buddy. I've wondered where you've been.
Yeah. Dude, I don't think a guy like Tucker knows what the internet is about. He's a tough guy. He's a smart ass. He's quick on his feet. He can take a joke. And part of being memed on is people are kind of like making fun of you a little bit. People make fun of his voice and his facial expressions, all this stuff. He's whatever. He doesn't give a shit. He's doing great. I don't think a lot of these CNN people that are used to being treated with respect and reverence, I don't think they're cut out for the Wild West of the internet. I don't think they're cut out for somebody to call him a needle-dicked piece of shit in the replies,
It's funny you bring up his voice because I think his voice is completely hilarious, right? And I'm not, an omnipotent memer or like person who's an omnipotent like person who sees every meme on the face of the planet. But I don't see any memes making fun of his voice. None at all. I see many making fun of Rachel Maddow, making fun of all these other people. Like I'm sure they had them. Like you said, he doesn't give two shits. So if the people did make the memes making fun of his voice, they stopped because he didn't care.
Yeah.
Or making fun of the bow tie. He didn't care. He wore a bow tie. I've spent some time wearing a bow tie for a couple years. Yeah. I like wearing a bow tie. It's different than everyone else. Everyone's wearing it straight. I want to wear a bow tie just to go a little bit opposite against the grain of everyone else.
Yeah.
I want something that kind of just stands out. That's really what I think the bow tie was. It's a way just to kind of stand out a little bit more. But talking about all of the whole point of Chris Wallace leaving CNN. So MSNBC's Rachel Maddow's salary reportedly cut by $5 million despite being ratings Viagra. As parent company Comcast deal with difficult times. I will say this is the one thing I've been finding very interesting is that despite Trump getting elected, MSM, mainstream media of these channels are not seeing record number viewership. I thought prior to the election, if Trump wins the election, they're going to have a huge spike because of during 2016 and his first term, they had huge ratings, and it's collapsed post-election.
Yeah,
of course, these are the same people that were coming out and believing the Iowa poll that actually said Iowa, a very red state, where Republicans are a higher registered voter base than Democrats, was in play for Kamala.
Just cope.
That pollster, she retired.
Here's the thing. That's so great that Trump retired a pollster. That's great. Well, here's the thing. I think for okay, so I'm gonna do a little bit on wokeness and what it is. I think a lot of people who are woke are losers, and they do the woke thing because being woke feels like winning. Right, being able to just because no matter how much of a loser you are, this has happened to me. If you've like fucking misgender somebody or whatever, it doesn't matter how much of a fucking loser piece of shit you are. You could check that person right then and there, and it's like you're pointing a gun at them socially. You're like, hey, you change your words so that I like it. I'm righteous and I'm angry, and you have to. And then it's like, oh, I'm sorry. It's like, aha, I won. It feels like winning, right? But now being woke feels like losing because it wasn't just. If you watch all these Trump cope videos, it wasn't just that he won the Electoral College. He won the popular vote, too, and he won it convincingly, right? Yeah. So it's not now being woke feels like losing. And I think a lot of these people are just drained. I don't think they've got another 4 years of living in fight or flight mode. I don't think they can do it. Because the whole Trump administration, it was DEFCON 1, top, we got to be afraid all the time, right? And then the whole Biden administration, they kept talking about Trump. Like, Trump's going to do this, Trump's going to do that. Be scared. After 8 years of this shit, I don't think they can do it. I don't think they've got it in them. I think they're done. I think they're emotionally drained. I mean, geez, I think we all know a terminally woke person in our personal lives. I think we all know somebody who just went off the rails and started posting crazy shit on Facebook. Think about what it's like to just be that scared and that anxious all the time. I don't think they can do it. I think they're drained. I think they tapped their viewer base of fear. I think they just can't. They got to tune out because they can't do it anymore. Yeah, I think they're done.
Well, we can see it with the reports that have been coming out with companies dropping their DEI programs. Mm-hmm. This woke experiment, I think, is coming to a head. Companies now, especially with what's been happening with their sales, they know it's not a winner, and know that it is such a small subsection of the country that even supports it, and it's alienating their other customers. Right. So more and more companies are coming out going, hey, we're getting rid of it. But still, it's not coming fast enough. But at least I think we're starting to see a bit of a culture change.
Yeah.
I think the pendulum's starting to swing and is starting to now come back in the opposite direction.
Yeah. I think a lot of people went along with wokeness because they wanted to be a good person. And we were told that's how you be a good person. You be woke. And a lot of people who don't pay a lot of attention are just like, I'd like to be a good person. I want to be polite. This weirdo in a dress wants to be called Sarah. That's fine, I guess. I don't give a shit. Whatever. I want to be a good person. I'm a nice guy. I'm polite. But they kept pushing people and pushing people and pushing people. And pretty soon you had drag queens twerking their asses and they wanted children to put, dollar bills in their G-strings. And all of a sudden they're like, wait a minute. I don't know about. I think the kids was a bridge too far for most people. It was seeing girls getting beat up by men in their sports. Like, that was a bridge too far. And I think doing this stuff in schools, once they started seeing what people were trying to do in schools, I think that was a bridge too far. And also, I think diversity was having a real negative impact on the quality of entertainment. Which is important because you need that bread and circuses so people will tune out, right? And then all the new TV shows and movies started to suck. So now people are paying attention. It's like, hey, you fucked up Star Wars. Now I'm pissed. You know what I mean? Like, I think that was for a lot of people. And so I think people are over it, and they pushed him too far, and they asked him to just go along with too much stuff. And also, the woke activists treated people really badly. They were very obnoxious for a long time, and I think people got tired of it.
Hey, do you want to know my pronouns?
Go fuck yourself.
Perfect. Samesies.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. MSNBC star is really kind of being generous. Rachel Maddow annual salary by $5 million as the left-leaning network continues to reel from parent company Comcast's decision to spin its struggling cable properties, according to the report. It's slashing $5 million. So Maddow, who rakes in $30 million a year, overpaid
for one day a week.
Yeah, 1 day a week. Rachel Maddow's show, just 1 day a week on Mondays, renegotiated for a $25 million salary over the next 5 years, according to the Ackler report on Thursday.
Who fucking who?
It's a difficult time, and they need to keep her. Who is saying that? I mean,
I'm gonna see $1 million in my lifetime.
No one else can do what she does. Bullshit, Joe Rogan.
Him.
Can't. Yeah. You can't build a brand like it overnight. Yes, that I'll give you. You can't build a brand overnight. That's true. But it doesn't mean you can't bring in a host that's already established that does a lot better and has a bigger viewership.
Sure. Look, if this was during the Obama administration, I think she built up a lot of credibility. But during the Trump years, a lot of stuff happened. All of that Russia stuff ended up being made up, and she was one of the biggest proponents of it. And I don't know if you guys remember this, but do you remember when she got like 1 page of Trump's tax returns and she hyped it for like 24 hours?
Yeah.
And it was just like, these are his declared earnings, and he paid some taxes. And it was just like 1 page, and that was it.
It was almost like the Geraldo Al Capone safe thing.
That's
huge
exactly
hype up,
right.
everything, and it turned out to be nothing.
And I tell you what, it is really hard to earn viewers' trust and respect, and you can lose it like that. I tell you what, people are fickle with their time and their energy, and if they put a lot of trust in you and you let them down, I think that's how people feel. They feel let down. I think people feel it just really is just like taking the wind out of people's sails, and people's lives are hard right now. We shouldn't understate that, because we talk a lot of shit in this country about how materially wealthy we are and all look at all this great stuff we have access to. But I tell you what, man, the dollar does not go as far as it used to. People are struggling in a real way, and they're being gaslit about it. They're being told that the economy's great and that everything is fine and that Biden's doing a great job. And I think they're turning, even left of center people are turning on the people that are lying to them. I don't know if Rachel Maddow has the credibility she used to have.
Oh, she doesn't. She flat out doesn't.
Well, the biggest thing is they may sit there and watch MSNBC, CNN. They hear the economy's great. The economy's never been better. Inflation is not as bad as it used to be. It's only transitory. And then they go to the grocery store.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that blows up their credibility.
I mean, Dollar Tree is now $1.25 tree, for God's sakes.
That's crazy.
That's unacceptable.
Yeah, I tell you what, man.
Five Below is now $7 Below.
Yep.
Crazy. I tell you what, man. I'm somebody who is trying to make my dollar stretch. I am I'm what they call a working class comedian. I'm not. Listen, I don't have that Louis C.K. money. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make it work, man. I'm trying to get by. I'm lucky to get $200 and a free dinner. When I perform. So I tell you what, man.
I'm getting nervous. I'm going to start. I'm going to be driving down Sprague, and I'll see you walking the street.
You might, bro. You might, bro. Hey, hide the cougars and hide the sugar mamas, because I'm looking for a place to live. I tell you what, man. Good gracious. But I'll tell you what, man, that's real. Like, I'm a guy, I do not have an extravagant lifestyle. I keep it real simple. I'm a single guy. I like to eat my eggs and my ground beef. I'm real simple. I
Tacos.
need cat food. You know, I got to pay my phone. I'm not, and I tell you what, man, these prices are crazy. And for you to sit there and tell me that the economy's doing fine and the job market is awesome, it's like, no, dude. Everybody I know, I have a buddy who is a journeyman electrician, skilled labor, earning good money, and his savings are going down and down and down and down. He's doing the best he can to try to support his family, and he is completely priced out of the housing market, and he lives in Idaho, like where some of the cheapest houses in the country are. He can't get a foothold in. And this is somebody who's doing skilled labor, a good job, not one of these bullshit laptop jobs. You know, he's not, and he's not working retail, or not shit on people who work retail. Retail's fine, but it doesn't pay a lot, right? This is a man with a good job, you know, and just the price of just feeding his family is eating him alive. You can't tell me the economy's doing good, but they have to say that because they're so invested in the Democrat Party. You know, they care so much more about the people in power and holding the existing power structures than they do about the problems of regular people, you know?
Rental, as I put down there, it's going to be you'll own nothing and be happy, because that's exactly what they're doing. That's what the housing prices is pricing people out of being able to buy. So they're stuck in a renting situation.
There's only one place I've seen that housing is not killing you. It might be Iowa or it might be Idaho.
Sure.
I watched a video. It was about 2 or 3 months ago. So my house is not extravagant, not huge, but a house 3 times the size of mine. It sounds bigger than it is. My house is like 1,500 square feet. It sounds like it's a huge house, but it's really not. But their houses, and I watched the guy went down in this cul-de-sac neighborhood. It's considered a poor and crime-ridden neighborhood. There's 7-bedroom houses. I'm talking like almost mansion-sized houses for $100,000 in Iowa or Idaho. Well, I think it's Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like down the street. Yeah, that's $180,000. That's $100,000. This 9-bedroom house, 6-bathroom house is only $155,000. It's got a pool, in-ground pool, 2 acres of land. Just no one wants to live there.
Yeah,
but it's the only place that's not like being squeezing people out.
No, and that's so. I've noticed a couple of trends. Like you're right, Emerald. We are turning into a society of renters. Like everybody's everybody, even people with good jobs. I got a buddy who's an engineer, and his fiance is in the medical field, and between the two of them, they can't get a house. It's crazy. And I tell you what, we're turning. And also, if you noticed, cats are starting to replace dogs as the most popular pet among millennials. You know why? Because we all live in fucking apartments. Emerald, I know you got a couple of cats. I've got a cat. You know, I can't have a dog in here. Nope. Right? Like, I don't have a fucking yard. I don't know anybody's got a yard.
Because true, honest pet owners know a dog needs a yard. A dog needs to be out there, be able to go there. Dogs should not be in apartments, because that is not a good environment. They can't get out and go and just run and play in a yard.
Yeah, and they're
so
gonna get anxious.
What are you left with for animal companionship? It's cats, or a gerbil, or a fish. But those don't want to play catch. Those don't want to play with a string.
You can play catch once with a fish. Then you got to buy a new one.
That's definitely happening, dude. And it's crazy when I think about, where somebody like my parents are boomers, and I think about what my dad already, they had a house owned, they had a dog, they had a yard, they were a couple of dual income, no kids before it was cool. They had they were going on vacation whenever the fuck they wanted. They had new cars in the driveway. They didn't give a fuck. They were having a great time. And I look at, people now, and I can't imagine having that kind of buying power. I feel so bad for these young Gen Z guys who are, who are coming up in the game now, just you apply to 50, 100 jobs, and you might get lucky if one of them gets back to you. Like how are you?
But look, I'm Gen X and I'm running into that.
Yeah.
Like I'm at the age where and I was able to get back response from a couple people, and they said, bottom line, you're too old, you don't have an education. I'm some college, not a graduate, and you have no experience. Like, what are you talking about? I'm applying for stuff in the field I have 14 years experience. Well, I know, but it's starting at the bottom of this company at your age. It's not something I'm like, what the fuck you talking about? My age.
Yeah.
You can hire some little 20-year-old kid who's got like a degree and like no experience, and he's gonna come in here and get somebody killed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's crazy. And I tell you what, man, you do not want to have a society. And part of the problem is, and a little bit of a tear on this one, but I tell you what, part of the problem is the diversity quotas, and a lot of these jobs, a lot of these bullshit laptop jobs were just made up so women would have something to do. And so we got an economy with a bunch of men who are competent and skilled. It has never been easier to find a competent, skilled man with nothing to do to help you out with something. I tell you what, man, I got the guy I got doing my camera work for my upcoming show. I should not be able to get his time. He should be somewhere way fancier than me, working with way fancier people, making way more money. But I tell you what, he's not going to get hired because he doesn't have the right plumbing and he doesn't have the right color. That's real. And so you got a bunch of men. Darnell, you're right. There's a bunch of men who are running into that right now, who are just out of work, even though they've even guys with qualifications, with degrees, because there's so many people with degrees. They've just inflated the value of the degree. And the degree doesn't teach you anything valuable. They teach you a bunch of woke bullshit, and then they send you on your way. You don't know anything, but you've got that. You've got your entry pass into society. Listen, I know somebody. A friend of mine who has a degree, and she's the manager at a chicken shop down the road. They make chicken, but she's got a degree, and that's why they made her the manager, because she had the degree, right? And so it's like, and there's people with degrees, washing dishes in the back of fast food joints, man. The degree is just not what it used to be, and it's totally screwed up the economy, because now you got systems, businesses aren't running effectively because they're hiring people based on, they're trying to meet some kind of like diversity quota, or they're trying to conform to some kind of HR requirements.
Well, I just know if I'm the one that's involved in hiring, which luckily I'm not, and I'm not going to be in a position of hiring. But if I were to, I'm going to look and take the person with experience before I would even look at a person that even has a degree.
You can't do that, sir. You can't do that.
That's crazy.
You can't do that.
And that's the reason why I'm not an HR rep in any kind of way, and I don't hire people.
Yeah.
And so the last little bit we're going to do from this article, and then splitting off from MSNBC from NBC News could force the cable channel to change its name, logo, headquarters, and may lead to layoffs. Yeah, I think it should just be labeled as X News. Anyway.
Yeah. Just Elon buys it. It's a fully owned subsidiary of Twitter. It's just
why not? All encompassing. There's a feed right in there on X that's just the news channel. And you want to know, they also have a footprint on cable, but most of their stuff's going to be made for Twitter. But hey, we got that footprint for the older generation.
Hell yeah. At least, and honestly, they should hire hot people to be the host. Put all Elon's baby mamas on the panel. Make that the new View. This Elon's baby mama. I'll call it All My Baby's Mamas, and just put them on the show. Fucking Amber Heard, fucking whoever the else he knocked up. It's good looking women too. I mean, he's he's got good taste.
Suppose you're looking for another one.
Yeah,
man. It does. Maybe. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to go around the horn on final thoughts, the state of mainstream media, and we'll start with Theo.
they're fucking dead in the water. And honestly, I love it. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and she was like, she's a person I went to law school with, not somebody who's like really in the industry, but you know, she's rooting for me because she hates her fucking job, right? So she's talking to me, and she's like, well, why don't you move out to LA and try to get a job writing on a TV show, and then you could be famous? And I'm like, dude, you don't understand this at all. Like, I'm telling you, the old gatekeeping institutions are dead. The Wild West, the internet, all you need is a phone and a microphone, and you can make your own way. Like, this is what a time to be alive. This is a great time for people who just want to get out there and make their voice heard, because anybody with talent can catch a wave and capture an audience. This is going to be, I think we're going to see a renaissance of cool stuff. I think it's going to be great. This is the best thing that could possibly be happening.
Darnell, what are your thoughts?
I think that it has one last chance to prevent itself from becoming going the way of the dinosaurs, and that's to pivot. If they don't pivot, they are going to sink. They'll be done. They have to stop telling half the country you're Nazis, you're racist, you're any kind of ist. If they don't do it, that's it. They're fucked. They have a very small window to save themselves. Bottom line.
Personally, I believe that we are seeing the decline, and I think we are going to see a shifting where people are no longer taking and will not come back to the cable news model in any kind of way. Now with social media, now with new media, people are looking for authenticity when it comes to news reporting. Even if it's some guy in his office that just reads some articles and stuff like that and has thoughts, even commentators, as long as there's authenticity, people are going to go to that first. Now, audiences are going to be fickle. Audiences are going to not be as forgiving. So if you're telling them lies, which we've seen with left-wing podcasters as a result of the results that they were gassing up their viewers, thinking that Kamala was going to win, and she did not, and they shed viewers because out of outrage, because they felt lied to, they felt misled. That's why even during when we were doing the first show of this, the entire time, at no time did I say, "Oh, Trump's got this in the bag. Trump's got this. Oh, this is going to be a Trump win." I go, I can see it from both ways. Some channels I've been seeing, it looks good for Trump, and I can't believe they're even saying that the popular vote is in play. But I was cautious the entire time because you don't know how the people are going to vote. You can't listen to mainstream media. You can't listen to polling because you can cause polls to say anything that you want it to, either how you take your sample or or specifically how you ask the question. So in the end, it's always about being cautious about it. And the problem with a lot of current journalists is they want to be the first to report it. Even if it's inaccurate, even if it's wrong, they want to be the first. How about you just can actual journalists just take a step back, get some research done, verify these comments, and then report on it? We saw that recently down in Mar-a-Lago. A reporter on Twitter had made comment of ambulances and a plane and rushing to Mar-a-Lago and rushing out of Mar-a-Lago, and making it seem like there was something going on with Trump. Then it was later, oh, everyone calm down. That was just running mate. Why am I blanking on his name? JD Vance's motorcade.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. And I personally think that journalist should lose his job for that. You caused a panic. You put that on Twitter where you have our adversaries seeing these posts because they're looking too. They're watching our social media for things that are going on. That could have sparked an international incident going, oh, he's out. He's out. Do something now because he's not coming into office.
Yeah.
That's why reporters have to be more careful when they are reporting on this stuff. So with that said, we are going to close out this episode of Insert Title Here, episode 5, and we will go around the horn, tell everyone what you're up to and what you're doing next, and we will start with my co-host, Darnell.
I was just standing here the whole time he was talking. I will be at the MSK show tomorrow night, and Saturday night, and again on Monday. Sorry, Monday. I don't think I'm going to be on Space Jockeys. I don't even know if there is one this week. Tuesday, quiz time with Quizmaster Darnell Quigley. I think the tournament is going to resume this week, so it's not going to be a normal show. It's going to be a tournament show, 8:45 p.m. Central Time on Mr. Burger's channel. Lastly, youtube.com/@shamrecords, my AI created music. I and a buddy of mine, we write the lyrics and we create the songs on using Udio AI. Check them out. They're cool songs. They're short songs. The older songs we have that are covers are a little bit longer, but they're a cool thing to have in the background. They're actually pretty cool music. We just released a full album called Boomer's Gonna Boom. It's about a bunch of songs about all these young kids and their technology and how we're all old and getting. I know I pointed to you because you're the youngest. You're not really a young person. So yeah, check it out. Theo,
what you got going on?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be on a Society Reviews panel show on Tuesday. I'm going to be on the MSK show on Wednesday. And then Friday, I double book. I'm on the Rogues Gallery with Iron Oxide. And then I'm going to be right back here. Also, I'm going to be doing stand-up all over the place. Like I said, I'm going to be traveling a lot in 2025. I got a big show coming up in December. So if you want to keep track,
come near me, dude.
Absolutely, I'm working on it, dude. I'm working on it, dude. I'm trying to do the whole country next year. So if you want to keep track of everything I'm doing, go ahead and follow me on Twitter at Theo Snod, and follow me on Instagram and YouTube at Theo_Snodgrass. That's where all my clips are going to be.
And I put the links in the chat as well as I put them in the comments. So if you are watching the broadcast later, you can find links to all of my panelists, co-hosts, and guests in the comments. I'm Drunken Emerald Arrow, and thank you for joining. Ask that you like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. And we are out of here for this episode of the 5th episode of Insert Title Here. And it has been fun. And we will see. Oh, no. I know we're not done. What did we not do?
Oh,
so before we go, where is the sponsor? I have my sponsor. Oh, man, that would have.
Oh, man. I'm sorry. I'm looking at jobs right now, so I kind of got turned around.
So before we go, the sponsor today is the Screw. Now, screws are all around us. They have constructed the lives that we live in. They're in computers that we are streaming from. If it wasn't for the humble screw, we'd be screwed. So make sure that you remember the humble screw that has built society. It wasn't just man. It was
and woman.
And woman. It was the screw.
No, screw. Screw. That's where I was going with it.
So everyone, make sure before you go to bed tonight, you look at your bed frame and think about that screw that is holding it together. As you walk in and start to use that microwave, remember, there are screws in that too. We would be nothing if it weren't for the humble screw. So thank you to our sponsor, the Humble Screw. There we go. Now we can end it. Everyone have a great night. And we will see you all back here on the Insert Title Here show next Friday. Everyone have a great rest of the weekend.
I can't do it. Okay. We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks. Ian.